Ford introduced the Fusion as a replacement for the Taurus, but they didn't stick with the plan. You see, what they did was they resurrected the Taurus name as a rebadged Ford 500, which confused everybody. We can't even keep up.
Now, the Ford Fusion is priced around the middle price point, starting at around $23,899. It's just slightly more expensive than the Toyota Camry. Huh?
What the Fusion does have going for it is that it beat both the Camry and Accord in initial quality in this year's J.D. Power & Associates annual survey. Number one, by the way, was the new Chevy Malibu, followed by the Mitsubishi Galant and then the Ford Fusion. Quality is job one.
The styling is instantly recognizable as a Ford, with the front bar grille and the flush headlights. Now, the styling was quite unique when it first came out on the Fusion, but now Ford is using it on all of their products, so it's becoming a bit homogeneous. The interior is well laid out with simple and logical dials and gauges, especially the center console. The Fusion is well appointed with height-adjustable seating for the driver, tilt and telescopic steering, MP3 jack, and more. The interior does suffer from the use of too much hard plastic. It doesn't have the polish of the others in this class.
The Fusion also scored very well in our list of 10 standard safety and convenience features. It only lost 2 points because they don't include standard traction and stability control. The Ford Fusion has the second lowest horsepower rating at 160, but it has 156 pound-feet of torque. That's from a 2.3-liter engine. By the way, the car with the lowest horsepower rating is the Camry at 158. It might be down on horsepower, but this is still a very good engine. It is used extensively in Ford and Mazda products, and it has a willing soul that I like. Now, I haven't driven a Ford Fusion since we drove it the very first time it came out a few years ago, and this car actually really surprised me. First of all, it feels quite lively, even though it doesn't have the most horsepower. It's got the second least. It's the way that it's geared, and it feels more responsive than other cars with bigger engines and more power, like the Sonata from Hyundai. It's got a very nice ride to it, but the one thing that does surprise me in a negative way is the fact that this car is not that inexpensive. It's priced in the middle to upper end of the pack.
The Ford Fusion is unique in two ways. It's the only car in our comparison from the Big Three in Detroit to be offered with a 5-speed manual transmission. And it's only one of 2 cars in our comparison to have a 6-speed automatic. The other one is the Volkswagen Passat. So far, the Fusion has a good list of standard content. The Fusion rides on 16-inch wheels as standard equipment. Ford puts a bit more emphasis on handling than some of the other makers in this comparison. It rides well, but when asked, actually handles itself in the corners, a good balance between soft Camry and sporty Accord. I was pleasantly surprised with the overall ride and handling of the Ford Fusion. It isn't as sporty as some of the other vehicles in our comparisons, such as the Altima or the Legacy, but overall, it's a very comfortable and capable car to drive.
You know what, Lacey? The Ford Fusion, it surprised me by how much I enjoyed driving it. It's a nice driving car. It's got a good engine. It's one of the only cars with a 6-speed automatic transmission.